the fuck you been up to, man? Fuck, where you been at?
Work.
I've been seeing you all over Instagram.
I try.
Your Wonder Boy Aaron Rodgers just signed a $200 million deal.
He wasn't going nowhere.
Did he really sign it? Because I heard something he
tweeted like, I didn't sign that. I was like, shut up, bitch. You ain't going nowhere.
Right.
Everybody knows he wasn't going nowhere. I'd said from the beginning, my first reaction was before like the draft happened, I said, yo, trade him. Like, trade him to San Fran.
Right.
Go get Bosa. Go get Debo. Like, get some picks. I mean, go get and then the rookie, Trey Lance. I was like, go trade him. He don't want to be here. People are like, you're a Packers fan. You can't tell. You can't say like you don't want Aaron Rodgers. I was like, I don't want anybody on my team that doesn't want to be on my team.
Right.
So if you don't want to be there, let's go get a bunch of motherfucking shit for him. Like,
get the fuck out of here.
Easy. Like when Brett Favre left, I was actually really hurt. But when he left, like, cool.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback now. And if Aaron Rodgers left, and Jordan Love is my quarterback. If he sucks, he sucks. He's my quarterback. So
Packers fan till you die.
I ride with my team, bro.
I feel you.
And if you don't want to be on my team, then like I said,
I was there rooting on DiNucci whenever Dak Prescott went out last year, the year before that.
I like Dak, man, but this year he seemed really average.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he was like just really babying his injury at some point. I think he like re-injured himself, to be honest.
He did. He got his shoulder was messed up and stuff, but he just seemed like usually when Dak first came out, he had no care in the world. He was just throwing the ball. It was kind of like Robert Griffin III. Like when he came out, he was just nasty. But then after he got hurt, he was kind of like, I don't want to get hurt again.
Yeah, I don't want to get hurt again. I'm not going to take risks. No, you're good.
So, yeah, I feel like I like Dak. I like the Cowboys individuals. Like, the individual players. I'm like, yeah, those are some good players. But as a whole, I don't like them fans.
What's wrong with the fans? I'm a Cowboys fan.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
I'm a big, massive Cowboys fan. I was born into it. My dad was a huge
No, that's cool. Fan. I mean, people are like, why are you a Packers fan? You're from Houston. I was like, well, I'm too old for the Texans. I'm too young for the Oilers.
Right.
Because the first person I've ever seen play football was Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
Ever. And I can remember as a kid when Brett Favre played the 49ers, and I was sitting down with my nephew's dad, and he was like, I guarantee T.O.'s going to catch a pass down the middle in the playoffs. And he literally caught a pass down the middle and beat the Packers in the playoffs. And then I remember when Brett Favre played against the Raiders when his dad died.
Right.
So I grew up a Packers fan. And then when the Texans came, I was like I said, it's too late.
Right.
When you're part of my team, you're part of my team. I'm only going to ride with my team.
Yeah.
So I don't root against the Texans. Like, my whole family are Texans fans. So,
right. Obviously.
Well, most of them. But I don't root against them. Like, it's my city, too.
Yeah, so. I don't root against the Texans either. But just like you can't stand Cowboys fans, I can't stand Texans fans.
Oh, Texans fans are terrible.
Houston fans are terrible.
The Texans fans are terrible because
I think Houston sports fans as a whole are terrible. Let's just clarify that. Not just Texans fans, but Houston fans as a whole of any sports team are terrible.
They buy into they
buy in when they're winning, and then when they're losing, they're like, oh, I was never a fan of those people. I don't even know who they are.
Well, they also like if you look at their games, it's always packed. I'm like, bro, stop going to the games.
Right.
Like, if my team sucks, I'm not going to the game. I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to support that. And the Texans are like the Browns of the South. Like, they're embarrassing as an organization. Like, nobody wants to join the Texans. Nobody. And that's why they did 15 one-year contracts last year.
Yeah.
Because it's like, hey, nobody wants to come here. But, hey, I'll sign you for a one-year deal. I'm like, okay. And then most of those guys left.
Right.
And then now you got the Texans. So
whatever
they're the Browns
they're going to be this coming season. Deshaun Watson, I guess he beat the charges today. Did y'all see that?
I did see that. All them hoes too that said that he did that shit, they need to go to prison. Right. You talking shit.
He didn't do that shit. But maybe he did. But
actually,
he probably
I'm not going to say who, but somebody was like, well, shit, if Deshaun Watson's going to prison, I should go to prison too. So I was like, oh, shit. He said, bro, he was just doing shit I do.
That's fucking crazy.
But, nah, yeah, that's fucked up. I mean, if he didn't do it, truly didn't do it, then don't accuse him of doing stuff. So.
Right, no, of course. But I think that was like a whole collusion thing just because he was trying to leave.
What's that guy? Ellerby. Is it Ellerby?
Ellerby, or no, it was who owns the Texans?
The McCains own the Texans.
On the Texans.
That other guy, Ellerby, or I don't know his name.
Well, the lawyer for all the females, Tony Busby, they live in the same neighborhood, but they claim they never know each other. Like, oh, we don't know each other. Like, y'all grew up in River Oaks. Y'all live in River Oaks together. How do you not know each other?
When Deshaun said he wanted to leave, that's when all this stuff came out. So I was like, I don't believe y'all.
Yeah.
And
me either. I wonder what the Texans are going to get for him. Probably nothing.
They should get a lot. I mean, if they're smart, but if they're not smart, they'll probably get like a 7th round pick that don't exist, and it's just like
and a fading star.
Yeah. So that's the Texan way, as we know with the DeAndre Hopkins trade.
Right.
That's the worst trade in the history of sports.
That is.
They're gonna do like a 30 for 30 ESPN, like the worst trades ever. And it's like #1, Houston Texans trading Deshaun or D-Hop to fucking Cardinals, who I hate too. So.
For nothing, for David Johnson and
for literally pennies,
right?
And a sorry player that I'm like, bro, I didn't even want to play him on Madden. Like I put him on the bench. Like
I imagine how that phone call went. Probably called him. We got a deal for you. I got DeAndre Hopkins.
Bill O'Brien was like, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Trade of the year.
Heck yeah.
I got this.
Give me a running back so we can continue to run more I formation.
That's why he's the OC in Alabama now.
Right. And that's why they lost national championship. Did they lose national championship? Or they came back and won it?
No, they lost it.
They lost it, right?
Damn.
Did they win the Natty?
They lost.
They did lose.
They lost because that wide receiver got hurt. Who'd they play? Georgia? Georgia won.
Yeah, Georgia.
Yeah, I had money on Alabama. I lost.
He's like, now I remember.
Because I remember I told my nephew, I was like, bro, we can't bet against Alabama. It's like betting against Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
Right.
He's like, oh, yeah, you're right. And then we lost. Because Alabama had just beat Georgia.
Were they the favorites?
Alabama? No, I think Georgia was. Even though Alabama beat Georgia in the SEC, but I was like, whatever.
Well, it's okay. I put a bunch of money on Masvidal last weekend and fucking lost my ass.
My nephew put a bunch of money on the Packers against the Niners, and we all know.
Dude, yeah, what the fuck was up with that, man? I honestly had the Packers going all the way. I was like, oh, they're gonna go all the way. That's gonna be the winner of the Super Bowl. Like, I already got handwritten down, done. I'm like, that's it.
I did too.
And then
and it didn't work.
Obviously you did, but
I just I was like, that's why I wasn't even mad. Like if Aaron Rodgers left, I was like, all right, if he leaves, then my expectation is no longer Super Bowl. It's
right.
I just want to go to the playoffs. Right. But now that he's there, it's like, okay, well, if you're staying, I want to go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Don't stay and then we're losing the NFC Championship again. Like,
yeah, 4 years, motherfucker.
It's too much. It
was too much. It hurt when the Cowboys lost too.
We
They look like shit. I was looking for the Cowboys-Packers rematch.
I was so happy.
It was a catch.
I was so happy. It was a catch. I don't care. We won. But I was so happy that the Cowboys lost because actually I wanted the Cowboys to win because I didn't want to play the 49ers. I told everybody I don't want to play the 49ers.
Right.
Why? I was like, because that's a physical football team. Like they will manhandle you, which they did. And I was like, as long as the Cowboys win, we'll be fine. And the Cowboys do what the Cowboys do and lost. If the Cowboys would have won that game, I promise you the Packers would have won the Super Bowl. But the Cowboys lost.
It's all the Cowboys' fault.
It is. It's like, if you do your job as the Cowboys, you don't do a quarterback sneak for the last play of the game, you'll be just fine.
You have one job.
Terrible.
They fucked us over, man, in the QB sneak.
Oh, it's Mike McCarthy. Right. Man, I know him too. So that's why they hired him. They wanted a yes man. So that's what Jerry.
I can't wait for that motherfucker to kick the bucket.
He's not, bro. He does like anti-aging shit.
Yeah, adrenochrome.
He's gonna be alive.
He's on the Hillary Clinton deal.
Yeah, he's on that Clinton shit.
Right.
So.
Like, what the fuck, bro? Well, you know, he like fucking made the Rangers move into a new stadium. Like, you know, they built that new stadium.
It's not. I've been there. Yeah. Well, I didn't go in the stadium, but I've been outside of Arlington and all that. It's nice.
He had everything to do with it. Come to find out, they're actually putting an XFL team in the old Ranger Stadium, and Jerry Jones owns them.
Naturally.
I'm like, that's why y'all motherfuckers got a new stadium y'all didn't need.
Well, I heard like a lot of
their old stadium was beautiful.
Well, I heard a lot of like the NFL, like whenever things happen, a lot of the owners wait for Jerry Jones to say something, or they wait for his like approval. Like, oh, Jerry said this, so we're good. Like, so I heard Jerry Jones controls a lot of the owners,
right?
Because they respect them. Jerry Jones created like the NFL as far as the. Like the profits and stuff for the teams. Right. Like the teams are now control the rights of their team, like their logos and stuff. That all came from Jerry Jones.
Right.
Smart guy, obviously. But
he needs to take a step back. Let us win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
please.
I mean, great draft pick. Like that's a great team.
They got a good team.
That roster is insane. It's not even.
I'm like,
fair.
how can we not win the Super Bowl? What's going on here?
Well, Mark Cooper's gone.
I know. After they signed him for like fucking 5 years.
If he goes to the Chiefs, because I keep hearing rumors about the Chiefs, I'm gonna be so mad, bro. That's cheap. That is cheap. That's KD going to the Warriors. Like, bro, I can't do that.
Can't do that.
Which I still don't like KD for, so.
Right.
And KD was talking hot shit last night against the 76ers. I was like, bro, I want to see that in the playoffs. Let me see that in the playoffs, bro. So we'll see what happens. Right. I don't like him.
I don't really fucking follow basketball too much. I did see just right before y'all got here, though, that James Harden was out at a party after they lost.
Naturally.
Yeah.
Probably strippers.
I don't know. He was with Lil Baby, of course. That dude isn't fucking. Have you ever seen that video of him in the studio with Lil Baby?
There was a video of him. He was like, I got a phone call. I think it was right before they had a game, and he was like, I got a phone call. It was like Lil Baby, somebody else, and they were like, yo, we're in town. We're going to the studio. He's like, I couldn't pass up that opportunity to learn from these greats. I was like, learn what? And then he went to bed like at 4 a.m. And then he went to the basketball game the next day, and I was like, "Learn what? Your whole trade is basketball. What are you gonna learn in the studio? Like what? What are you gonna be like? Oh yeah, that's gonna help me with my game. Like
if James Harden comes out and becomes a rapper in 5 years,
that's exactly why we know James Harden couldn't win it all because he's so worried about other shit.
Yeah,
strippers, rapping, all kind of. He don't even rap.
I know. There's that video though of him in the studio with Lil Baby, and they're like, Lil Baby's like playing a song for him, and he's like, "This is the hardest shit ever."
He's like, bro, the random guy.
He looks like a kid. He looks like a kid, like a big fanboy. Like, yeah, this shit's just funny.
But yeah, it's kind of weird.
Anyways, fucking how's work been, man? What's up?
Busy.
You said it's been busy. You said a lot more people are trying to buy houses and shit. What's up with that?
The rates going up, people like in a rush. But like I tell people, man, it's better to have a 5% interest rate on a home than to be renting, because when you rent, it's 0% interest, and you don't get
shit for it.
Nothing. You literally, let's say you pay $2,000 a month in rent, which some people do. Just take that $2,400 and throw that shit in the trash.
Right.
But at least if you have a house, like a lot of people are selling their houses because they have so much equity in their house because of the values have skyrocketed.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
So people are making hundreds of thousands of dollars off of their homes.
Right.
And they're like, oh, cool. And then we're doing a lot of people, well, not so much now, but a lot of people are doing cash outs because their values have gone up. So we're doing a lot of cash outs. So people paying off their loans and paying off all their debt or renovating their homes and stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, we're busy, man. Just constant loans.
That's what
constant
I need
loans.
to do. You need to pull out an equity loan and fix this motherfucker up.
Like a HELOC, yeah.
Whatever.
Easy.
I don't even know what that is.
A HELOC is just like picture like a credit card.
Okay.
So you open up a line of credit on your equity of your home.
Okay.
So like let's say you have, well, I don't want to put that out there, but I don't know how much equity you have, but let's say you have a ton of equity in your home, then you just literally pull out a line of credit. So it's like a credit card, but it's all in the equity of your home. So just imagine like you go buy, let's say you want to renovate your house and you go get a credit card with like 20% interest. You can literally get a line of credit on your home on the equity, and you're sitting at like right now maybe like at 4% interest, but it's way better than 20% interest.
Right.
And then all you're doing is as you pay your mortgage, you'll have an additional payment because now you're paying that line of credit.
Right.
But you're sitting at like a 4% interest on it. So you're saving a lot of money in the end. Like, it's just a home equity line of credit, basically. Nice. But it's good if you're trying to take out a good chunk of change for low interest. So that's why a lot of people do HELOCs and stuff.
Noted.
Yeah.
Write that down.
And then there's cash outs. So we do like A6. Well, we don't do HELOCs. HELOCs is from the banks. So like Bank of America or whatever, your credit union, they'll do HELOCs.
Right.
But we don't do HELOCs. We do cash out refis. So if you need let's say you can take up to 80% of the equity in your home in the state of Texas. Right. So if you have a good amount of equity, then you can take out a loan up to 80% of the value of your home. And then you take that out, and now that's your money, basically. You kind of restart your mortgage. Right. But now you have a good chunk of change. So a lot of people do that to pay off their debts, renovate their homes. Right. And you just almost restarting your mortgage, kind of, but
kind of in a way.
You still, like I said,
So what about
it only goes to 80%, so you're not fully restarting your loan.
So what about a home that you own, like flat out, that's paid off?
It's paid off. Oh, you could, so let's say you have a house for, let's just say $100,000. You
Right.
could take out $80K if you own the home. The
Okay.
state of Texas will let you take out 80% of the value, so you can take out $80,000, and then you just restart your mortgage.
So in that case, like if I had two houses and one's like currently a rental property and it's paid off,
You could take that out too.
could I do it like no docs, like you said?
Well, no, that's different.
That's different.
Yeah.
Okay. So
A
that's
cash
like
out's
buying?
not like an
Okay,
investor.
okay.
A cash out comes from us. Those type of no doc loans, they're only for investment properties, and that goes to an investor. The investor then is the one that provides the loan. When it comes to like cash outs, that we can do cash outs, which is
okay.
better because we don't want to push off loans to investors because
Right.
the investors control the process, and we have to follow their guidelines and stuff. So we lose control of the loan. And we don't like that because, like at my job, we control the whole process. Underwriting, everybody, the processors. I use the same processor on every loan, the same underwriters. Like we know everybody. So not every company is like that. Some people outsource their processing. Some people outsource their underwriters.
Right.
So
Seem like
even
fuck.
closers, like we have closers, funders. We deal with the same closers, same funders. A lot of companies will outsource all those things. So we don't. We have the
Do
ability to
everything
control
in-house.
them, yeah. And then we learn, we build relationships with every department, so
Right.
you have more control over your loan. But whenever you broker it out, then you lose control because
Right.
now you don't have that ability anymore. And a lot of those deals, sad to say, a lot of those deals end up dying, or just we call them relationship killers, where you tell somebody, hey, we can get you closed in 60 days. Usually, with a regular loan, we can close your loan in 21 days.
Right.
But when it's an investor, it's like 60 days, and then 75 days in, you're like, why is my loan not closing? We lost control of your loan. Like,
Right.
we're at the mercy of the investor.
Right.
So I don't like doing them, to be honest with you. But I mean, some people they have to, based on just their file. But
Right.
it's trash, to be honest.
It's like, don't do it.
I mean, I tell people, hey, it's gonna be tough. Like we don't even lie. Like
Right.
we tell everybody, this is gonna be a tough loan because just bear with us. As we get information, we're passing it off to you. As they need things, we pass it off to you. But
Right.
it all depends. So they're terrible though. They really are.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So you're seeing a large amount of people buying homes now that they see the interest rates going up,
We're trying to buy homes. Yeah.
trying to buy homes.
So like I said, like a lot of people when they realized the rates were going up, they're like, hey, let's, we've been thinking about buying, let's buy. The rates are going up. And
So they're trying to buy before they go up even more.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, nobody knows the truth. Nobody knows what the rates are going to do.
Right.
Nobody knew that on January 3rd, the rates were going to skyrocket. Or not skyrocket, but slowly start creeping
coming
up, which they have. So nobody knows that. We just kind of, it's just the way the market is.
Right. Thanks to
And, I mean, we projected, you can kind of try and project it, but the market is the market, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, everything's going up right now. Gas.
My truck used to be like
Food.
$65, now it's $85.
Bro, I paid $5 for a pack of hot dogs yesterday. I was like, what the fuck? There used to be like $2.75. Now they're $5. Fucking chili was like, the little can of chili for the hot dogs. Used to be like 98 cents. It's $1.97 now.
That's what happened with, bro, this is my favorite beer. This beer used to be like, it was like $6.50. No, it was, so it was $9.99 minus $1.50. It was like $1.49. I mean, not $1.49, minus $1.50. So it was like
$8.50.
$8 something, like $8.50. Right. And then when they sold that shit because Carbox sold their company to Anheuser-Busch.
Oh, they did.
And when they did that shit went up $1.50. I was like, bro, what is you doing, bro?
Bitches.
They did. Carbox sold it.
They don't even say it on
They
here.
still got they still do, they have their brewery and stuff like that.
Right.
But, now I talk to people, we have a loan officer from Kansas. I think he's from Kansas. And he was like, yeah, we got Carbox up there. Because once they sold then they started branching out. They started going to all these.
Oh yeah.
My buddy from New Mexico, Albuquerque, they have Carbach over there now. They didn't have. Obviously, it was just local, but since they sold it, then Anheuser or Busch is gonna make their money. So
of course, like we need to get this out more. Now
that's what happened with like Yingling. Yingling was never around here ever.
That's a pretty good beer, though.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, I used to live in Virginia. When I was in Virginia, I was like, well, this is amazing. And then when I left, I went to California. I didn't have Yingling forever. And then when I came home, like maybe in the last 6 months, it's like Yingling everywhere. I was like, what the? And then now you see it at HEB and all these places. I was like, what?
Yeah, the first place I tried it at was at a Cowboys game. I was like,
good beer.
I was like, what kind of like darker beers they got? We got this Yingling. And I was like, sure. And I was like, damn, it's pretty good.
Pottsville, PA.
Pottsville, PA.
That's where it's from. I had a buddy from one of my, or not my Marine, but one of my buddies. He was from Pottsville, PA, and we used to make fun of him. But nah, they make good beer, so I was like, never mind.
So I guess they're good for something.
But what you think about this Russian stuff, bro?
I don't know, man. I mean, I can't say that I didn't see it coming. I don't really know too much about it. I don't really play too much into it. I'm kind of like taking a break from like being involved in worldly events. I just like
I have like I follow a lot of news. I don't follow the news. Let me rephrase that. I have news apps.
Right.
And as the notifications come in, I decide what's important or not.
Right.
So if I see something that's important, I'll look into it. If I see something that's stupid, I'm just like, no, that's stupid. But Marines, I've seen a ton of Marines saying like, we need to be on the Russian side. And I'm just like, okay. And then I know everybody else is like, pro-Ukraine.
Right.
To be honest, I'm like,
I don't know what side.
I don't really care.
What side is like whose side to be on here?
Yeah, I mean,
history tells us like fuck Russia, right? That's what we've always heard growing up, right? Fuck Russia. Russia, they're terrible. This, and that. And then when Trump took office, it was different. It's like he tried to like build a relationship with them and like find common ground, and everybody just slandered him and trashed him for it. And so it's like, why? Why do they hate Russia so much?
But like I heard Russia. I mean, like what Russia's doing makes sense. If we would do the same thing. If China tried to put missiles or try to build a base in Mexico, we'd be like, no.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
You're fucking high. Or in Canada, like, no, bro, that's not. Sorry, it's not gonna fly. So Russia's just doing the same thing. I'm not saying I'm on his side or anything like that on the Russian side, but also like I like Ukraine because I like how they appear based on the videos I see.
Right.
They appear to be fighting for their country.
Well, so supposedly what's funny is actually I went and visited a project site recently for my job, and one of the guys there, his wife is Ukrainian, and what he was telling me is that the people that are in Ukraine that are actually fighting are like far right-wing nationalists, like people who are just like gung-ho, like almost as dangerous as like the SS back in the day. That's how much they love their country, and they're like willing to die to the death for it. And he's like, and then there's a whole other part of Ukraine that is literally just giving them the keys, like to Russia, like, oh, whatever, like you can have it. And
that's what I said. It appears to be like, because I heard like, you hear conspiracy theories and all that, and you're just like, well, I mean, I don't know the truth. I just see what I see on social media, but like I said, to be honest, I don't care. Like, I don't care who wins, to be honest. I don't care if Russia wins. I don't care if Ukraine wins. I think the UN is trash, regardless of what happens with Ukraine and Russia. Like, the UN is supposed to be like this world protector,
right?
And their ass, they're not protecting anybody.
No, they're just like, starting wars.
Yeah, it's like sit back and see what happens. Right. Oh, we're gonna put some sanctions on you, and it's like,
what's that?
It's not doing anything.
Yeah, obviously
Putin's like, care. Keep doing it. I don't care. Cool. Well, I think Putin's embarrassed too, though, because Russia looks like
they're getting their ass kicked, right?
But that's like the betrayal that we see. Like, that's the narrative we see. I mean, it could be opposite. We don't know.
Right.
I mean,
we're not there.
I follow a lot of like, I listen to this podcast, and they're like, I would say they're hippies, but I think they were like ex-CIA or something like that. Mm-hmm. But they're like real liberal type guys because they were under the Obama administration and stuff.
Okay.
They worked for the government, and this called Podcast Save the World. It's about international affairs and stuff, but they're like a liberal type. But I mean, they say some good stuff, but I mean, we don't know what's the truth.
Right.
And that's what we're saying. Like, we don't know. Like, they had reporters from Ukraine come on the podcast and stuff, and then she was just talking, but then, like, they started bombing around the hotel she was at. So then they were like, she was like, I have to leave. But it just, you don't know what's truth and what's fake.
Right.
I mean, we see it on social media, we eat it up, and it's like, right, we don't even know if that's real.
Right. Well, supposedly I saw on TikTok that there were some videos and some reports they were using, but they were like old videos and old things.
Oh, about like the president of Ukraine.
Right.
Like when people were like, oh, he's fighting for his country, he's out there.
But it was like from like last year or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there was like a Ukrainian, like Miss Ukraine or something. Like she was like, oh, she's fighting. It was like an airsoft gun and shit.
Right.
Like she went to an airsoft event like a few years ago. So I was like, well, shit, I don't know what's real and what's fake.
Right.
And like I said, I don't really care. Like I don't care who wins or loses. I don't think we should get involved as far as boots on the ground and stuff. But
well, I think there's like some interest there because of the chance of merger from like Russia and China and Iran just getting all basically colluding to basically try to take over the world and become a power force of the world, which is what I think Russia is trying. I said like a few years ago, I was like, Russia's going to be like the next America, like in a few, like 10 years from now. Well,
I think
like we're going to just like Russia's going to be that country, you know?
I feel like China is controlling Russia.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. Like I feel like China probably like pushed Russia to do this to see like, hey, what happens if you try to invade the country next to you?
Right.
Because China wants Taiwan and stuff. So
yeah, of course.
They're just sitting back,
trying to see how
watching
America.
Like, hey, let's just see what happens.
Like,
yeah,
let's see how they respond.
Because
well, the same thing with COVID
China's
too, right?
Fucking,
like
absolutely.
Like, oh, let's see how everybody, the whole world responds to you doing this.
Boy, China's terrible, dude.
China is terrible.
Just because they don't have like human rights, bro. Like, you can just do whatever you want. Like, yeah, fuck it.
Fuck it.
You want to make tennis shoes for fucking 5 cents?
Fuck it, make
cool.
them.
As long as everybody's making money.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy over there. But
I saw that China owned like they used to own, they still own was like parts of Hollywood studios and our AMCs and stuff. So you can't make any propaganda versus China because then they'll shut down the production and be like, no, you can't do that.
I have no idea.
I heard that. And I was like,
well,
what?
it's probably true.
I was like, because that's true. Like, we're puppets too. Like, we're just like, oh, we hitched our wagon to China for easy profits.
Right.
And now it's like we have no choice. Right. Otherwise, the cost of living is going to rise, which it already is.
What's happening? Well, that's, I think, what Trump was trying to change is he was trying to basically cut a bunch of taxes for corporations to move manufacturing back to America, because that's really what it is.
Well, he kept Ford here. He kept Ford in Detroit because Ford was going to leave.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying is like, you know, because they tax so much on these corporations here. They're like, why fucking stay here, right? Like,
yeah. Yeah, I mean,
might as well fucking go to China and make it for less and import it, and that's it. And
Trump was like, no, keep that shit here. But Trump does mean tweets, and Putin still has a Twitter, just so everybody knows. He can invade a country, he still has Twitter.
He was on that Trump was on the Full Send podcast. Did you see that?
I did, and then they shut that shit down. YouTube was
They did already?
YouTube shut it down.
Oh, I saw it right before they shut it down then.
I saw the videos, and then I won't say kid, but that guy, he came out and was like, hey, YouTube just shut our shit down. They took it off.
Well, he told them they would.
You
know, obviously. Bitches, man.
And it's like, bro, he's just...
But he didn't even say shit. Like,
he's going to run again. He's running 2024.
Oh, yo, I know.
He's going to win because our gas prices are like...
Yeah, everybody's fucking pissed.
Bro, the other day I was like... It might have been like 2.5 weeks ago. I was downtown and the gas was $3.50, and I was like, $3.50? Heck no. So I was like, I got like $10. I was like, I'm going to find somewhere where it's $3. And then the next day I woke up and like gas by my house was already $3.50. I was like, bro, in a day, like this shit just
changed.
And then now, shit, we're up in the $3.80s, $3.90s. Buddies from California said gas is $6.
Bro, I seen somewhere in Sacramento it was like $8.
That makes me want to throw up.
I'm like, bro, it's Russia's fault though.
Yeah.
No one else's.
And we're buying oil from there still too, so
right.
It doesn't matter.
Well, no, we're trying to buy oil from Venezuela now, so But I mean, I've said that for a long time too, that the whole fucking turn to socialism and turn to communism in Venezuela was definitely America played a huge part in that, because Venezuela sits on one of the largest oil reserves in the world. So
and now their country is in fucking shambles.
America's like, we need to go save them. That's how they sell wars to the American people. They're like, oh, that country is run by a dictatorship. We should go save them. And you go save them, and then now we put bases there, and then now we control the oil, and then boom.
Exactly.
Yep.
Terrible.
They tried to do it to Russia. They can't.
There was something you said about Venezuela that reminded me of something.
Now we're buying oil from Venezuela?
There's something else, but I forgot. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, it's terrible, man. I mean, we just need to focus on us, because we suck at it. Like, we suck at being...
But isn't that like, even if you think about it though, that's like American people in general.
We're just so self-centered.
Not even that we're self-centered, but we're so worried about everyone else.
Well, I mean, we're self-centered in the sense that we want the comfort to know that we have Wi-Fi and we have water, we have basic necessities.
Right.
And then a little bit more, like Wi-Fi. Like, you don't need Wi-Fi to survive.
Right.
It's not a necessity. But we're like, that's just a necessity now.
Right.
Like, oh, we need it. Yeah. If you don't have you don't have Wi-Fi here. Out. What? I'm going to Starbucks. Like, fuck off. Like, okay.
What you mean you don't got no fucking Wi-Fi?
Yeah. But in reality, like, if it came down to it, like, bro, if somebody invaded America, how many people in America would be fighting for their country?
Probably a lot.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think a lot of people leave. They go to Mexico, China.
Right.
Or not China, I mean Canada. All the Mexicans that came here will leave. They're like, that's not my country.
No, I'd probably...
And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm just saying that, I didn't come here to fight. Like, I came here for good life, you know? And then all the Canadians that came were like,
I'm going back
home.
Right.
And then... I don't know.
I'd be gone in the mountains somewhere.
I think like your, I guess, conservative side, I think they would fight. Not everybody, not like the cowards and stuff, but not like the wealth.
Right.
But there are good people. I mean, there's good people on every side. I think
that there's just like a common morality amongst Americans. Like, there's a common belief system. Like, I firmly believe that regardless of whatever the media portrays or whatever split or there's differences that people have, there's like a common area where we're like you said, a comfort zone for all Americans, where like if anything gets outside of this, then everybody's asking why. Similar to the gas prices, similar to the food rising prices, the inflation. Everybody, left, right, doesn't matter. Everybody's like, yo, what the fuck? Yeah. Now we're out of our comfort zone. Now we're not living comfortably. Like, what the fuck is going on?
But it should have took that way before.
Oh, no, you're right.
Way before. Because, like, the Trump stuff, like, everybody who was mad voiced their opinion easily.
Right.
Like, hey, Trump's a fucking asshole. All right. Now, although they didn't say none of the good stuff he did as far as keeping, job companies here in America.
Right.
We weren't worried about how much is a fucking gallon of milk or how much is a gallon of gas or whatever.
Right.
Inflation and all that, because Trump was like, no, we're American made. Take it or leave it. I don't care.
Right.
And then now it's like everybody's up in riots about inflation. I'm like, bro, you voted that in. Right. That's what you wanted.
You got what you wanted.
Yeah, people even
Kamala Harris said it.
Yeah, bro.
Even Kamala Harris is like looking at Joe Biden like, you got what you asked for.
And what was it? The other day I saw a video of Biden and they were like, Biden, what are you gonna do about the gas prices? And he was like,
go up.
He's like, the gas prices going up, and they're gonna keep going up, and you can thank Russia for that. And I'm like, no, bitch, you can control that shit too.
Right.
Like,
well, oil production is up. Like,
they're making money.
They're making money, but it's like I mean, they're just like, well, fuck it. The price of the barrel of oil is so high right now. They're like, they might as well fucking keep it. They're not gonna lose money. They lost money all throughout COVID.
No.
That's why gas got so cheap, was because of COVID. Because it was just a supply and demand, right? There's like nobody was really driving. So
everybody's working.
Obviously, it's like $1.30, $1.50. And I'm trying to remember what it was before COVID hit. I want to say it was probably like $2.50 or something like that, $2.75.
I also think it was happening with the mortgage companies, because a lot of people get bought houses that were like 2.5% interest rate, 2.5 interest rate, 2.75 interest rate.
Because no one.
And those banks are like, yo, fuck that. I want my money back.
Right. Well,
So now they're gonna the rates are on the rise because like, yo, we got to make our money back from somewhere. Unless those people start selling their houses that have those good rates, or they start refinancing out of them.
Right.
There's a ton of people that got good rates. So like me, like I'm not ever gonna sell my house. I'm not ever gonna refinance my house. Like, not unless I sell it. Will I get rid of my rate? I got a great rate.
Right.
And I'll probably never see that rate again. But I'm not gonna do anything unless I sell my house.
Right.
Because I'm gonna go somewhere else. But and the banks want their money.
Yeah, I think everybody who thought that this would just be over, that COVID would end, we'd just get back to this normalcy and life would just be perfect. Like, right out the gate, like, you're fools. Like, this was always going to take, like, at least 2 to 5 years for us after COVID ended for us to stabilize. So I think right now we're just in this massive wave pool where it's just like basically the market's stabilizing, but right now it's obviously like all over the place, and then it's eventually just going to start.
Well, then Russia kind of fucked it all up too. But I don't think we should have went as dramatic as we did as far as COVID. Like, bro, it was just another illness. It was another sickness. Yeah. Like, people died from homelessness and all that kind of stuff because you decided to put mandates on people and stuff. Like, and then not only that, like, nurses, if you don't get vaccinated, you can't work at the hospital.
Right. We saw United. I think United Airlines just turned around and told all the people that they laid off because they weren't unvaccinated to come back.
Come back, yeah. I was like, bro, like,
what?
No, like, and they're like, oh, we have a big shortage of nurses because you fired everybody. Right? That's your fault. Whose fault is that? Like,
well, not only that, nurses like realized that they could make way more money being traveling nurses, as opposed to just being stuck so much money, in a fucking one area. So a lot of them just moved to, well, fucking, I'm gonna be a travel nurse.
I know a lot of travel nurses, like, not me, but like I've done loans to where like they live in Houston, where it's a good cost of living, and they fly to Cali. And in California, like, I think it's in Cali where like if you work over 8 hours that day, it's considered overtime. Mm-hmm. So overtime in Texas is like after 40 hours in a week, then it's overtime.
Right.
I think in California, after 8 hours in a day, it's overtime. So they go over there and they make a ton and they make like $74 an hour.
Jesus Christ.
And it's like, yeah, I'll do that. And then a plane ticket is nothing to them because like I just make $74 an hour plus overtime. They're just fine, dude. Sure. And a lot of those nurses get paid like paying income tax, additional money.
Right.
A lot of them get paid
like M&IE or MIE
all kind of
or
stuff,
whatever.
Man. It's ridiculous. I mean, shit, I ain't mad at you making that money.
Shit,
like, shit.
Fuck it.
If I could do it too, I would too.
Run
shit.
your bag up.
Yeah, I ain't mad. So I don't discriminate.
Right.
You make your money. Shoot.
Right.
Good on you.
So fucking. Yeah, I don't know. What's your opinion on the Russia thing? What do you think like is gonna happen in the end? You think they're just gonna take over Ukraine and that'll be it?
I don't think so. I don't know. I really don't care. Like I said,
nuclear war? No.
Nah,
not gonna happen.
People gotta make money, bro. Well, these
That's
big.
True. There's
no money in that.
There's no money in killing everyone.
There's no profit in killing everybody. That's why. Obviously, profit controls the world. So
right.
What profit is it in destroying everybody?
Right.
I mean, the ego is involved. Like Putin. I think Putin's embarrassed, like I said, because his fucking fighting force looks like shit right now. Right. Running out of gas and shit. But I also think that I don't see like a nuclear war happening. Because everybody wants money. And there's no money in that. Like, once you do that, then what's the profit? There's no money to be made anymore.
To be made when everyone's dead. Or in a shelter.
Yeah, I don't see that. I just see like I think eventually a peace treaty will come. I don't know from what side. I don't know who's gonna
facilitate it.
Yeah, but I think eventually it'll happen. I think Ukraine just needs to be like, yeah, we're gonna lose eventually.
Right. We can only fight off for so long.
So let's just create a treaty and then just say, hey, we won't fucking be part of NATO.
Right. Because that's what the whole issue is, right? Is that they don't want to make Ukraine a part of NATO?
Yeah, the Russians don't want Ukraine to be a part of NATO because, like I said, now you're putting weapons in Ukraine right next to the border of Russia, and Russia's like, no,
sir.
No.
We're not doing that.
And we would get mad too. Like I said, we'd be mad if
Right, if Russia try him and try to put weapons
at a base or anything in Canada or Mexico, like, no, bro, you're not doing that. Right. So he's just being his country's president, basically.
Right.
Just trying to protect them. But I mean, like I say, you can take whatever side you want. It don't really matter.
Right.
Like, I think it's cool that the Ukrainians are fighting. They appear to be fighting more than any Afghani I've ever known. So.
At least they're not running, right?
Yeah.
So shit hits the fan, hiding under a...
But yeah, so it's kind of weird, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, they were saying too, I heard that all the weapons we left there now, like the Middle East is just selling them to all these other countries.
I wouldn't doubt it.
They're taking the Black Hawks and taking them to China so China can re-imitate them.
Wouldn't doubt it.
I'm like, fuck. I heard one of my recruiter actually, like he's a master sergeant in the Marine Corps now, and he was telling me that like some of his other buddies, he's a career recruiter, but some of his other buddies are still in the fleet. Like they were already getting briefings on fucking an imminent war with China within like the next 10 years. Supposedly that China can build, in the amount of time it takes us to build one like battleship or whatever, China can build 20 in the same amount of time.
What, they got like X billion people in the country.
Right. And well, like one of their biggest fears is that, because you know everything's made in China, is like that there's some kind of code in all these chips that they put in everything, and that all they're going to do is like one day just shut down the entire code. So they're basically teaching like the Navy how to navigate the waters like without any technology, like just blindly, basically, like it was back in the day.
That's terrible.
That's crazy, right?
Well, that's what's bad when you outsource everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you make a profit.
What the fuck? Don't tell me that.
That's like you make a profit, but now your profit is like what happened with COVID. Whenever we were like, we needed respirators and stuff for hospitals, so they say, and it was like, oh, well, all that shit comes from China, and there's no world trade right now because everything's shut down. It's like all our medicine was coming from China.
Right.
It's like, so now we don't have medicine for just regular shit anymore.
Right.
Like,
can't even get Tylenol.
So, and Trump was like, yo, fuck that. We got to start producing our own shit.
Right.
Which is smart.
Yeah, and so yeah, like GM and all them to start making respirators.
Yeah. And it's like, common sense tells me, as a leader of anything, like a leader of my family, like if a hurricane comes, how much water and food do I need for my family? Like we have that right now at home.
Right.
Like, you know, we got the big water jugs and all that shit and food, perishable items and stuff. As a leader of your country, shouldn't you have the same amount for your country? Or try to be like, hey, in the event that something happens, what is our plan to get things where they need to be?
Right.
In the major cities and then outskirts of those major cities. But there is no plan. It's like, no. Everything comes from China. When the boats get here, then we have what we need.
Or some other country.
But what happens when they can't get here? Because you outsourced everything to make a profit.
Right.
And exactly what happened. Where they were like, we need this, we need that. Well, too fucking bad. Because they're greedy motherfuckers.
Right. No, they are greedy motherfuckers, bro. It fucked a lot of shit up. Because I work in supply chain, right? So, fucking, dude, 5 years ago to ship a 40-foot container, it's like $3,000. Now to ship one 40-foot container is like anywhere between $15,000 to as high as like $25,000, $26,000 if you go to the spot market. Like if you have a contract with a steamship line, you probably pay like $15,000, $16,500. Now if you go to like, and then if you outsource it, like let's say you don't have enough spots and you need more containers, you go to what's the spot market, right? So basically it's a bidding war. And in that case, you're paying anywhere between like $25,000, $28,000 for one container to ship it to the United States.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And all our product comes from Vietnam. So.
And it's like, bro, like, I know you can't supply the world of America. Right. You can't supply all of America just based on production and all that shit. But at the same time, like, we should have a plan in place. Like, there should be a plan. Like,
or we should have like a surplus of our own shit, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like everything else from everywhere else is extra.
But these companies don't want to waste money on that. It's like, why would I pay for that? Yeah, why would I? There's no profit in that.
Right, yeah.
There's no profit.
I mean, think of yourself as a business owner, right? Like you're a business owner and you're like, oh, you can make it here, but we're going to tax the fuck out of you and it's going to cost X amount of dollars to build. Or you can take it to Mexico or to China or to Taiwan or wherever the fuck.
It's going to be a lot cheaper.
And it's a lot cheaper.
But that's what happened, and then that's when we see the problems that we got.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, we can't afford that. Or there's no world trade, so everything was shut down. So now it's like we don't have enough. People are dying.
Right.
It's like, well,
it's not even that. It's like that we have enough. Is like it created a bottleneck when we shut down because nobody really expected us to shut down. So when we shut down and everybody realized, well, shit, we didn't have enough shit because we shut down. So then when we opened back up, what all these companies started doing is they started buying in excess. Like now they started overbuying and saying like, okay, well, if we might shut down again because nobody knew it was going to happen, right? So, we might shut down again. So we need to now overbuy. Yeah. And so now because now they're overbuying, now there's this large bottleneck of just freight trying to come into the U.S.
Yeah. And it's, like you said, it's all at a cost.
Yeah. No, it is definitely at a cost, a high cost.
And again, like gas prices, like, production's not down.
Right.
It's skyrocketing.
No, production's actually way up.
And we're over here paying $4 of gas in Texas.
Well, everybody's, like I said, everybody's trying to make their money back, right?
Yeah.
So it'll stabilize out, I think.
I don't think it'll get insane or anything like that.
You just got to survive the next 2 years of your life. And if you can
I hope you work from home, bro.
Right. I do.
Yeah, I do too. So I mean, I can. I have the ability, but it's like, shit. The other day, I was going to the rodeo and I was like, well, shit, just put $100 on top of that for the gas because I got in my truck
too, right?
And I was like, shit, I'm almost empty. Like, just add $100 on top of that.
What's it costing you to fill up right now?
$85. Fuck. It used to be 65. Now it costs me 85.
Yeah, it's costing me like 50, 55 to fill up, which is high for me.
And it takes forever too. Like I'll be at the gas station for like 30 minutes.
I have a picture from like 2020, and I paid like $25 for like 19 gallons of gas, or like some fucking weird ass number like that.
Yeah.
Like, it was some fucking insane number, but it was like fucking $25. But I mean, not granted, like I had Kroger points or whatever, and I used it, but it was still like the price was like already so cheap that like I used my Kroger points and dropped it more that I could get like $25 worth of gas and fill up my entire like Dodge journey that I had at the time.
I remember when gas was in like 97 cents because I remember my dad used to be like,
everybody was freaking out when it would go over $1.
Well, he had to fill up like the lawnmower and stuff. Mm-hmm. He's like, I need a gallon of gas. And he'll get his canister, and then he'd go in his pocket and he'd be like, with that change, he'd be like, quarter. Here's another quarter, 75, a dime, 85, 2 dimes, 95. That's all I need. Shit, now you need $5.
Yeah, I remember like my parents freaking out when gas started going over $1. Like, oh my god, it's $1.25 now. It's $1.30, and I'm like, shit, as a kid now, like shit. Like, I wish if you was alive now, you'd be like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, because shit is wild. I know, and I gotta go to fucking New York in the beginning of April. Not looking forward to it. I rented me for work.
You got to drive? You driving or flying?
I'm flying, of course. But I'm saying, but I have to get a rental car when I'm there. Yeah. So, I got the fucking economy little Mitsubishi Mirage.
You're going to be spending like $7 of gas, $7 a gallon. And good luck trying to find parking in New York City.
Oh, yeah, I know. It's terrible. My cousin lives there right now. I went up there in the beginning of January. It wasn't too terrible. They live pretty up, like in the northern area of New York City. Yeah. Like close to Harlem, I guess. And luckily, like there was just happened to be a parking spot outside of their apartment. I just parked there. It was like a Sunday and spent all day there. I literally saw New York City in like one day.
My dad's from New York.
Really?
Yeah. I've been there. I only been there once, but it was cool. It was a good time. I would never move there.
I would never move there either, but it was dope. I think like just being there, it's like almost like mind blowing because you're like all these people like came here. When you think about the history of like how many people like came to New York and built that city to what it is today.
And the different type of, like my dad would tell you, like my dad grew up in a time, my dad's Puerto Rican, so he grew up in a time where you couldn't walk down, like he had an Italian girlfriend. Right. Sorry, Mom. I don't know if Mom's gonna see this, but he had an Italian girlfriend, and he would tell me like I couldn't go see her. Like if I went into Italian neighborhood as a Puerto Rican, right? He's like the times I did go see her, I got jumped. Like,
Damn.
they're gonna beat your ass. Like, they see you, like, hey, spick, and they gonna bum rush you, bro, and they gonna fight you.
Right.
And my dad has been in fight. He told me one time that he was on a bike. Him and his friends were on a bike, and they wanted to take a shortcut, but the shortcut was through the Italian neighborhood. So they just took off, going as fast as they could. And he said these Italians came out, they saw him, and they basically, like, one of the guys got a hold of my dad, and he said they fought until they both were so tired. They both looked at each other and said, "Let's just go home, bro." I was like, all right,
Respect.
Let's just go
Respect,
home.
brother.
Like, he said they fought until they were just exhausted, and they're like, all right, this
is enough.
Like, yeah, let's just go home.
Just call it a truce.
But that's
Nobody wins.
It was an influx of people coming into. That's what,
Right.
the old America, where people were like, oh, the American dream, and
New York City.
coming into New York City and all that kind of shit. So,
Well, yeah, but you see it all there, right? Like, the history is just
you
all
see it.
there. And then just to think, like, man, so many people have, like, come here, lived here, built this city up, and, like, now it is what it is. Definitely, like, the true melting pot
it really
of
is
America.
And I think Texas is getting like that, where
Yeah, I'm kind of.
we got a lot of these Californians coming in, which I don't want, but I mean, they come in, and then a lot of people from the West Coast are coming in. A lot of people from all parts of America.
Are you seeing that a lot, being a loan officer?
Oh,
You're seeing a lot of people from other states come in and buy homes.
we had I got a phone call, and it was like, hey, there's this guy I know, or one of the guys that was buying a house for me, and he was like, hey, the house, he was buying a new house, he was selling a house, and he's like, hey, I had an open house on my house, and this guy just came in and said, hey, he wants to put $100,000 down right now. He wants to buy the house. Say, hey, I said, all right. He goes, can you do a loan for him? I was like, well, just tell him to apply, and let me see we'll see what his credit's like and all that. So he applied. It was Saturday night. I mean, it was Saturday afternoon when that guy called me. So he applied. I looked at his credit and stuff. I was like, oh, what, $100,000 down? He could buy this house. No worries.
Right.
And he was like, all right, cool. I'm going to sell my house then to him. So I was like, okay, cool. So we got that guy pre-approved, whatever, from California. He had a house in Cali. He sold the house for like $400,000.
Damn.
And he made like an easy $275.
Right.
Came to Texas. The first house he walked in was that guy's house.
He's like,
said, I want to
it.
buy it. I'm gonna put $100,000 down.
Jesus Christ.
But
That's
not only
probably,
that,
like,
you'll
fucking normal
see.
to them.
Not only that, you'll see. Like, I was listening to something the other day about mortgages, and it was a realtor. Oh, I'm lying. I wasn't listening to nothing. I was talking to a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
I went to an event, and I was talking to a realtor, and the realtor said that they had a house that he was trying to sell, and they were about to put it on the market. The first day it hit the market, the house was selling for like $375.
Right.
The first day it was on the market, they got a ton of offers. Like, hey, we'll pay $375, $365, $350, blah, blah, blah. And then this couple came in from California and said, hey, I'll buy that house cash right now, $550,000 cash.
Wow.
And they were like, the value is $375. They're like, I don't care. We'll buy it $550,000.
You don't understand. A house like this in California costs $1.2 million.
They bought
bitch.
the house for $550,000 cash.
That's crazy.
Cash.
That's fucking, like, in cash? Like
Cash. Like, hey, in transaction,
Like, you
you
had to
get
count
$550,000, the house is yours.
Oh, I thought you had to count hundreds to the money counter.
I mean, it might have. I don't know. I don't do those. I don't do those type of loans.
Like,
but
they brought the brown paper bag and everything.
Cash. So, and that's just people that come in.
They're just so not used to it. Like, my boss, he lives in San Francisco, and he's like, I want to move to Texas. I'm like, do it. He's like, shit, a house, like what he pays for his house up there, he's like, I can get a fucking massive house for the same price.
He can get
Houston.
more than half the house he has for like half the price.
Right.
But people got to realize in this last few months, the values have skyrocketed. So, like, in Houston, a $200,000 house used to be like a really nice house.
Right.
Now it's not. Now it's like a regular home.
Right.
The market is skyrocketed. So,
do you ever think it'll go back down, like to get to normalcy?
No, I don't think so.
No, you don't think so?
I think we're gonna hover around this area now.
Okay.
To where in Texas you could have bought a $150,000 house in a decent neighborhood. Now it's gonna be like you need at least $200,000. And now a lot of people that apply that are trying to buy a better house in a better neighborhood, that minimum is $200,000. And like, I want 200. I can't do anything less. And then the people that want to buy better houses are like, I can't do nothing less than 275.
Right.
275. So now that I guess that median number has gone up a lot because the market, the values have skyrocketed for everybody. I mean, it's good and it's bad. It's good for the people that have homes. Like I said, it's better to buy than rent, because the people that, somebody who bought a $150,000 house like a few years ago, now they would have a ton of equity in their home where, like, hey, I'm going to sell this house, use the money I get as a down payment on like a $250,000 house. So, but people are like, no, I'm just going to rent, which was me. I mean, I didn't want to buy a house. I bought a house because my wife wanted to, but I was like, bro, I don't have to cut the yard in an apartment. I don't have to maintain
I had a friend like that.
Yeah, like
I had a friend like that. She used to swear that she would never buy a house. She's like, fuck that. I'll never buy a house. Blah, blah, blah. Talks all this shit. Fuck that. I don't have to cut the yard. I don't have to worry about maintenance. Something breaks. I don't have to fix it. Blah, 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 blah. Now she owns 10 acres.
Exactly.
I'm like, what
but it's
like,
I like having my own stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, I did. But there was a luxury to not having to worry about stuff. But now I didn't realize, this is before I started in the mortgage industry. You don't realize the amount of equity and profit that comes to buying a home.
Well, the benefits too,
the benefits is, and like I said,
well, it gives you leverage.
If you rent a home for 5 years, there's no equity you built within that rental. But if you buy a house for 5 years and you need money, you can do the cash out. You can go get money, or you could sell your home for money. You can't do that when you're just renting. It don't matter what your interest rate is. Like, people are like, bro, it don't matter what your interest rate is. Just buy the house, because you're building equity. Every time you make a payment, you're also gaining an asset from that. So just keep making the payment. You're gaining something from that. But when you rent, every time you make a payment, you're just literally throwing the shit in the trash. So, I didn't know that. I mean,
whoever taught us
nothing
that,
we learned from,
like, nobody ever taught us that.
Like, all right, whatever. But no, it's good. I mean, I like what I do. I think I'm good at it. So
yeah, obviously you still have a job. They ain't fired you yet.
They can't. I mean, they can.
He's like, they can't. Never mind, they can't.
But no, I like what I do, man. I got a great team around me too. I'm learning a ton, man. I got great people around me. That allow me to learn and stuff. I make mistakes, man. And
so the whole veteran loan officer thing, I saw you start doing that a little bit after the first time you came on the podcast. Like, what was up with that? What made you decide to start like doing that? Are you doing like some veteran outreach type deal, or? So
like, I don't know. I think I talked about the first time, like on the podcast I did with you first. Like, I try to stay true to who I am. And I only like talking to veterans, really. Because they understand you. But why I picked that up, because my cousin was a Marine too. And he has his own business, and on his Instagram, he's the veteran marketer. So he does marketing. So he's a veteran marketer. And I was like, one day I was just like going through my Instagram, and I saw, and he was like, the veteran marketer, man, that's pretty clever. Because my name was just like Carlos Torres, veteran, the loan officer, Carlos Torres, loan officer.
Loan officer, right.
And then I was like, bro, the veteran loan officer. I was like, that's pretty clever. Catchy. So I looked it up, and I was like, does anybody have this? I was like, nobody has this. Like, okay. So then I was like, this is clever. I mean, it's who I am. It's,
right. Well, you are a veteran, and you are a loan officer. But it's like, it also could be taken as like you've been a loan officer for a long time. Like, you're a veteran.
You can take it that way too. Shoot. So, but I think it's cool because like I do like right now I have a couple of veteran loans and stuff, and I'm able to tell them like, hey, do you have this? Like, do you have disability? And they're like, no, I don't have any disability. I'm like, well, and then I can talk to them like, why don't you have this disability? Or what is it that I can help you with and stuff like that. So you get to talking to people, and it's like, for veterans at least, you can connect with them so they're more comfortable buying a home. And then when it comes to other people, you're like, yo, I could talk to anybody, obviously. And I do. So, but I like that the veteran loan officer ring. It's just nice.
No, I liked it. So, it was dope. Nice. I was like, oh, I see you. I was like, shit's catchy.
I try, man. It's like I said, man, I'm just trying. Like I said, man, I'm learning so much, and like I gotta tell people, man, I'm bad at sales. Like,
Right.
I'm not good at it. Like, if you don't like what I tell you and stuff like that, like,
sorry,
dude, you can go somewhere
don't
else
buy
too.
it then.
Your right as a consumer is to go wherever you want.
Right.
Like, your right as a consumer is to shop around and get the best
Deal.
mortgage deal for you.
Right.
And I 100% believe people should do that. Like, exercise your right to get
Right.
the best
You're not
of
going to
everything
try to
you want.
sell someone of why
Yeah.
they should go with you.
I can't sell you to use me. You either use me because you like me as a person, or you use me because you're like, I can trust this person. I can't convince you of that. Like,
Right.
I can't talk to you for 5 minutes and you're going to be like, yo, I trust him. No, you're going to just be like, huh? So what I tell people is exercise your right as a consumer. Shop around. Like, don't use me because your realtor told me to use me.
Right.
If you want to use me, use me. If you don't, then don't. It won't hurt my feelings.
But that's a good sales point, though. You understand that, right? It's like reverse psychology.
Yeah, but when
They're
you
like,
tell
well, now he
people that-
doesn't need me.
But when you tell people that, they're like, well, I can go over here and get this. Like, absolutely you can, and I think you should. Like, I'm not going to tell you, no, we're the best. Like, I
Right.
won't say that. It's not the
Right.
truth. Because my job, we can do a lot of stuff in my job. Like, I love my job. I'll probably never leave this company as long as I'm doing loans.
Right.
But to say that what I do is the best product for you, I mean, it could be right, could be wrong, and I'm not going to lie to you and be like, no, I'm the best opportunity I have to buy a house.
Right.
What I tell people is, I don't think anybody will work as hard as I do as far as getting you the loan, and I don't think anybody will tell you, or like I don't have to hide anything. Like,
Right.
there's nothing I can't gain nothing from a loan.
Right.
I do my job.
Getting
and
shit
that's
from
it.
approving you
Yeah,
or
like-
not approving you.
I want to approve everybody because the more people I approve, the more loans I can do. So there's no profit to not approving you. There's no
Right.
profit to saying, like, you know what I mean? I'm willing to do the work because there's a lot of people that apply. Like I told you, they can't qualify to get a loan, but I'm going to do the work to help you to
Get
qualify.
Right.
And we do it to where we help people, and they go somewhere else. They get a loan with somebody else. More power to you. It don't bother me because I did my job. My
Right.
job was to help you get a house, and you got a house. So I don't care if you do a house with me. I don't care if you do it with somebody else. As long as the consumer feels like they got their best deal, that's all I
that
care
matters.
about. And yeah, I mean, I make more money when more people give me loans, but at the same time, like, it's your right as a consumer. And if
Right.
you tell me, if I go somewhere and like, hey, I'm the best at what I do, I'm like, yeah, I 100% don't believe you. I think you're a liar.
Right.
So, and I won't never say that.
Right.
I like the team I work with. We're legit. We work hard, and we help anybody. And if you don't want to do a loan with us, that's cool. It doesn't bother me.
Right. bother your boss.
I'm plenty busy, so I don't.
Like, we making money over here.
But I mean, I like what I like about my job is like, obviously I have a lot of freedom to do what I want, but it's also like I would tell people like, hey, you don't have to do a loan with me. But there's certain times when I tell people that and I'm like, they're gonna come back.
Right. Well, it's almost reverse psychology. Some people don't like not feeling wanted.
Well, my job, we could do a lot of stuff in my job. So like my job, like some banks, they can't do like projected income. Like we do projected income. So let's say you don't have a job,
Right.
but you've been working for, X amount of years and like you quit. You're like, hey, I got a new job and I got a job offer. All I need is to see your offer letter
Right.
from your job saying that
This is what we're
unconditionally
gonna pay you.
that you passed the drug test and all that. Unconditionally, you're going to start on this date and you're going to make
X amount of dollars.
$100,000 a year. My job will allow you to use that as income because we know unconditionally you're starting.
Right.
All we need is your first paycheck.
So what do you do about people who are trying to buy houses now, but let's say they were collecting unemployment because they may have got furloughed or laid
You
off?
can't lose unemployment.
You can't.
But see, this is a key because, like, let's say we had a lot of people from 2020
Right.
that were unemployed.
Right, like that whole year, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So my job would say, okay, we know COVID happened. We're not stupid. Like we know
Right.
that happened, but we'll still we'll count that as employment because COVID, and people have like, oh, I had an employment gap for a year and a half because of COVID. Like I was a nurse, and we see you were a nurse for 2 years. Then COVID happened, you quit your job because you were scared because of COVID, which just makes sense.
Right.
And then now it's like, oh, I went back to being a nurse.
Right.
We'll count that. We'll say, okay, 100%.
Okay.
We get it.
No, I think
we're not going to count your income from. We don't even need your income from unemployment because it doesn't mean anything. Because we're going to count your income as
if you were working the entire time.
Yeah, but what your current income is.
Right.
So like, let's say you have a job.
So like for me, like I worked up until about May of 2020, and then I got laid off, and I didn't start working again until like August of 2021.
All we got to do is you would write a letter saying, hey, I was laid off due to COVID from this time to this time, and we get proof from your employer saying we laid them off. That's it. Easy. No. But like when I say projected income, what I mean is like some people will be at a job, they're making $20 an hour. And they're like, hey, I just got a raise last week. I'm making 25 now. Some banks will tell you we got to wait 6 months before we can count the $25 an hour. Because we want to see consistency. Right. My job is like, yo, you make $25 an hour? I need verification from your job saying you make $25 an hour. Would it be a pay stub or whatever showing $25 an hour?
Like,
we'll count your job now making $25 an hour. But some banks will say, because it's just overlays.
Right.
Like my job, like I told you, the big banks control, they have all the money for mortgages. So whenever we sell off loans and stuff, we have to make sure we're following their guidelines.
Right.
Well, they have their guidelines. So some banks, like Bank of America or whatever, they'll be like, hey, we're going to follow their guidelines. And on top of that, we're going to add additional overlays to protect us.
Right.
To say like, hey, if somebody got a raise, you wanted 6 months. But we not only do we do 6 months of that raise, we're doing 12 months. We're doing a full year of that raise to protect ourselves as a bank. My job is like, hey, if the guidelines say as soon as you get a raise, you can use the raise, my job is like, hey, we do the same thing.
But is it not all controlled by the same bank? Like Wells Fargo is like not all controlled by the same bank, but that bank is just like... Well,
mortgages are controlled by the Fannie Mae's, Freddie Mac's. I mean, there's tons of mortgage banks, but those big banks, what they do is so like, let's say you want to be a broker. I mean, you could be a broker where you give loans to people to buy houses.
Right.
So you're more of a banker at that time, but what it is a company that sells mortgage loans, they have X amount of money.
Right.
So as they give off loans, eventually they run out of money.
Right.
So they give loans, and then as they're giving loans, they start selling these loans to the big banks, the banks that the government created for mortgages.
Right.
So that now their warehouse of money is now, as it's depleting, now it's increasing because we're selling off loans.
Right.
To the
it's
government.
like a revolving door, basically.
Yeah, so without those banks, we wouldn't be able to, you could only give X amount of money because you're going to run out of money.
Right.
So the banks will we sell our loans so that we can continue to give loans.
Right.
So that's like, everybody has it to where you buy a loan or you get a loan, and then they sell your loan off to somebody else.
Right,
and you'll get a letter saying, hey, your loan's been sold to XYZ. It's because we have to create,
that credit.
To open up
that
credit
line of credit. Yeah.
So then that's why the government created these big banks to buy loans for mortgages.
So that's what I'm saying, though. So like if I walk into a Wells Fargo and I go and try to get a mortgage, or a Navy Federal, try to get a mortgage, and then I get approved, right? Let's say I get approved for $250,000 house.
Yeah.
They'll turn around and sell my loan back to the same bank, Freddie Mac or whoever.
Oh yeah, they'll sell yours. Eventually it'll be sold.
Okay.
Eventually.
Okay.
Because
if it's all from the same place, these banks still hold themselves to a stricter guideline than what you as a mortgage company
don't
would.
hold themselves. So like the Freddie Mae's and Freddie Mac's, they set the guidelines.
Right.
So then like a Wells Fargo or Bank of America will say, this is the guidelines of the banks. Right. We're going to add additional overlays to protect ourselves.
That's what I'm saying.
But like mortgage banks like mine, to where we strictly do mortgages.
Right.
And we have less overlays. So we have the ability to do more. Like, for instance, on a VA loan,
right,
I would say this may be right or wrong, but I would say most banks would say, hey, 50% DTI, that's it. We're going to cut off at 50. So that means 50% of your debt to income ratio, if you want to buy a house, you have to be under 50% debt to income. With the new house, that's the house, the insurance, everything added on, including the debt you already have.
Right.
Whatever credit cards and stuff you have, auto loans, whatever. My bank, we can push that limit to be like, hey, at 65% DTI with a VA loan, we can do it. Now it's going to make sure you have good credit. It's going to take extra things, but we can push that. We can. If you go to Bank of America's like, hey, if you have 51% DTI,
fuck you.
You're not getting a VA loan.
Right.
And then people don't know, like, hey, I was denied at Bank of America. It's like, well, did you try anywhere else? I'm like, no, I was denied. Like, that's because Bank of America had their overlays saying you couldn't get a loan here, but you can go somewhere else
and get a loan.
And their guidelines are not the same. They're different because that bank is like, we don't think it's necessary to push that envelope as far as debt to income like a Bank of America would. Bank of America is always they're always gonna put an overlay because they're like, we don't want that risk of giving loans like that. But other banks said like, hey, the guidelines come from them. As long as we're in the guidelines, what does it matter?
Right.
They said they're gonna buy this loan from us as long as we're following these guidelines. What do I need to add a bunch of extra overlays for?
Right.
If we can literally,
if we're gonna sell them the loan anyways, and they're gonna owe them the money, and not us, right?
But a lot of banks put the overlays to protect themselves. Mm-hmm. But certain mortgage companies like mine, we just follow the guidelines. Whatever the guidelines say, that's what we do. And we don't feel it's necessary to go above and beyond as long as we're following the guidelines. Because we believe in the guidelines. Like the guidelines say, as long as you're following it, you're protected. Right. So we follow it. And then why would we add extra overlays? But your big banks will, because they don't want to take that risk. Right. It's not worth it to them. Because they make money in other ways. Right. Credit cards and all that kind of stuff. So obviously mortgage companies won't have that. Right. Because for the mortgage company you work for, you can't go open up a bank account or anything like that. Yeah. So Bank of America, they have other ways of revenue. Right. As for my bank, we strictly give loans, residential loans. Right. So why would we add overlays when that's the way we make money? Right. Whereas Bank of America, they make money in other ways. So, but yeah, I mean, I want people to know, like, just because you've been denied, that doesn't mean you can't buy a house. Right. Just go somewhere else and keep trying. Yeah. Keep trying. Just try it, because
call him.
I tell people, the guy I work for, he's been in the game for like 20 years, and what he told people in the beginning when I first met him, he used to always say, like, if I can't close your loan, nobody can. And I was like, okay, that's kind of cocky, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Yeah, and I've learned, like, if he can't do the loan, no other bank can, because no other bank has those minimum guidelines like we do.
And put in the work, right?
Yeah, and we do the work. Like, we had the other day, man, this is 2 weeks ago, this guy, this realtor called looking for help because he had a borrower. He took this loan to 5 banks, whether it be mortgage companies, banks, whatever. And every bank told him, no, you can't do this loan. It's not a loan.
Not going to happen.
He brought the loan to us. My manager looked at it. He said, that's a loan. We can do that. He said, it's going to take work. It's going to take a lot of work. I said, well, what do we got to do? We did it. We closed that loan in 2 weeks. Damn. In 2 weeks, that dude bought a house.
That's awesome.
He said, I took it to 5 other banks. They said no. That's what I say. If you can't do a loan with us, no, you can't do a loan nowhere.
So call Carlos first.
So we willing to do the work, but on top of that, like,
you got to be willing to do the work also as an individual, right? Because sometimes you have people that come in with bad credit and they need to work on it, right?
Well, that's the worst part. Like, people with bad credit, you tell them, like, hey, this is what I need you to do. 9 out of 10 won't do it. Right. They're like, nah, I'm not doing it. Oh, they don't have the funds. They don't have the ability. But when you're already in that mindset to where you're okay with fucking up your credit, most people are like, right, fuck it. My credit's already fucked.
It's already fucked.
And then
I'll just go back
you're
to
in your
renting.
apartment, like you're comfortable. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're comfortable where you're at. So, but you kind of get frustrated when it's like, man, I told you, I gave you a game plan. Like,
Right.
why didn't you fulfill that? Like, we came to agreement of what you would do or what I need you to do. Why don't you just do it?
And you can get a house in 6 months.
But a lot of people won't do it because it's like that mentality. Like, not like you're a loser or nothing like that, but once you set in your ways, you just like, this is just who I am. Like, I'm not going to change that for no reason. And a lot of people are just like that. Like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And they always push stuff off. Like,
Right.
I mean, we're procrastinators. As Americans, we're procrastinators. We all do it. Not all. We're not perfect. Like, I'll do that shit next month. Next month.
Well, it's sort of like an importance, right? It's kind of like I mean, it's important, but to you, it's like when you're in that like situation, to you, it's just like not important. You're just like, oh, well. I feel like I said, like people are like, well, I got my apartment, I'm comfortable. Right. Like, he's asking me to do stuff, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to do that. Right. Or I don't have the money for that. Or you do have most people have the money. It's just like you got to stop allocating your money to like dumb shit. Right. Like, don't buy that ounce of weed and go pay off that credit card. Like, stop doing dumb shit. Like, stop eating out every fucking day, motherfucker.
Yeah. My wife got Truebill. And the first few weeks she got it, she was like, we spend way too much money on buying out food. Bro, I'm the worst. I am the worst. Like, thousands. Federal, I think, used to do a fucking, like, they'll give you a chart that says, like, based off of your statement, like, entertainment, food, like, you know, it'll tell you. Oh, my God. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why did all our money's going to fucking eat now? Why don't we just buy groceries? Yeah. Well, I'm the type of, bro, I swear, I cannot buy groceries. If I buy groceries, I will not eat the food. For some reason, like, in order for me to eat at home, I have to literally go to the store that day, buy what I'm gonna cook it that night, and then like have and then normally what I will do is like I'll eat the leftovers like for lunch the next day. Yeah. And so it's kind of like a revolving door. But bro, I kid you not, if I buy fucking a week's worth of groceries, like chicken and steaks and shit, like that shit'll shit in my fridge all fucking week. I won't eat it. I don't know why. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with me. No, we gotta get out of that. I mean, I'm the same way. Like, we buy a ton of groceries. I store my money. My money goes to HEB. Right. And it's like, and then we buy, like, we'll go grocery shopping, spend like $250, and it's like, hey, you want to go out to eat tonight? It's like, bro, you just bought these groceries. Why are you going out to eat? Like, I don't feel like cooking. Exactly. And then all your food goes to waste. Right. Fuck. It's just a matter of being lazy, right? Like, Americans will pay for convenience. That's what we pay for. And that's why dude, so many people make money just off of banking on people being lazy. Like, you really think about it. That's what DoorDash is. DoorDash, people pay people to walk their dogs. A 12-ounce Coke costs more than a 2-liter Coke. Right. Because it's convenient. Because you can drink out of it. Yeah. A can of Coke is more, it's probably... I'll never forget when I was like 15 maybe. I was with my uncle, and we went to a fucking gas station. And he bought like a 12-pack of beer, and the guy rang it up, right? He's like, $12.99. He's like, I can get the same pack of beer at Walmart for like $8.99. He said, yeah, but it's not convenient. Yeah. I was like, damn, that's true. It's true, man. We pay for convenience. Right. Like, we want everything easy, and it's like, yeah, I'll spend the $5, but when you spend that extra $5, like, over a couple times a day because you want convenience, and then it racks up. That's why I love going to Sam's, bro. I tell my wife, like, we gotta go to Sam's more often. I mean, Costco gas was $3.50 the other day when everywhere else it was $3.89. I don't know what it is right now. I gotta go back. Costco. I like Costco and Sam's. Costco gas was $3.50 still. I was like, hell yeah. I was like winning. Yeah, I definitely need to buy a bunch of shit from there. Yeah. I started buying like my big items like toilet paper and paper towels and like toothpaste, like little shit like that from Costco. Like, shit that's going to last, like, 3 months, you know? So, like, now I'm buying that shit every quarter versus buying it, like, every fucking 3 weeks. Yeah. Like, I just told my wife yesterday, or the other day, I was like, when's the last time we bought paper towels? She's like, I don't know. I was like, the last time we went to fucking Sam's.
Right.
I was like, that was a long time ago. I was like, we got to stop buying these fucking onesies and twosies.
Right.
Buying bulk.
Well, even that, the snacks, bro, for the kids.
Oh, I buy all my snacks.
Bro, I buy all my snacks from Costco now. My kids run through a fucking 90 pack of Mott's fucking fruit snacks like fucking 2 weeks. I'm like, you motherfuckers,
real quick,
bro.
yeah. No, my
90.
kids tear. It don't matter what we buy. My kids tear that shit up. I'm like, guys, y'all stop fucking eating like this. Like, what's wrong with y'all?
I buy the 90 pack of fruit snacks, the fucking Pringles, like all that shit. But I can't get out of fucking Costco without spending like $60 or $80.
Oh no, everything you buy is like $10.
Fuck.
I was like, every time I put an item in my basket, I was like, that's $10.
Right.
So I'll be like, 1, 2, fuck, that's like $100. And then you go, it's like 110. You're like, fuck.
Well, it ain't no better than the fucking real, the HEB, bro. Like I said, I fucking spent $5 on a pack of hot dogs yesterday.
HEBs.
It's like, what the fuck?
I appreciate HEB, but all my money goes there.
Right.
It's expensive. Then I went to Kroger the other day because it's right down the street from my house. And I was like,
put the phone number in.
With this Kroger card, man, this is nice, man. I have to start shopping at Kroger.
That's what they want you to think. It's the same shit.
It might be, yeah. But like Kroger don't have them tortillas too, because HEB tortillas are amazing.
Oh yeah, they're fire,
so,
bro.
Like, I want
some good ass tortillas.
Yeah.
So, well, like HEB has like all these like neat little exclusive brands, right?
They do. That's why everybody goes to HEB. It's like, bro, they have shit that's good. You're like, damn, them HEB tortillas really do.
Yeah, they got the good meat and shit too.
And they got like the cinnamon rolls at HEB. Oh my god,
I never had them.
You're just like, I just can't. Like, bro, you look at them and it's like you can't even see the bread because all the icing is around it. You're like, oh my god. They just know how to.
It's like when they put Cinnabon in HEB.
That's all it is, man. They know how to pull at them heartstrings, bro, when it comes to food.
And then they got the dude sitting in the thing, like in that little glass case, like talking shit, cooking food. It's like all the samples. Same thing with Costco.
Yeah.
Costco with the samples.
Yeah, they all do it. Sam's and shit. You go in there, you're like, that is just good, bro. I need that.
I need that. Then you never eat it.
I just remember being a kid going to Sam's, like, I want all the samples.
Right. That's what my son does. He'll like run around looking, can I have this? Can I have that? They had like a little like all vegan plant-based energy drink, and he wanted it one time. They told him no. Like, you can't have it. It's for adults. Like, I thought it was plant-based.
I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast with some nutritionists talking about vegan diets and shit.
Right.
And how bad it is for you. And I was just like, well, I don't know.
No.
That's what they say. But
keep eating meat.
So there's like a carnivore diet.
Right.
And Sean Baker, you know Sean Baker? He's a doctor. He's like 55 years old. And he does a carnivore diet.
Is he like super ripped?
Super ripped. And he'll post like average people that he tells them, hey, get on a carnivore diet. And like their diseases and the different things they have will go away.
Huh.
And he'll post it on, if you go to his Instagram, you'll see. And basically a carnivore diet is just eating meat and stuff. Like Joe Rogan does a modified one where he
does it like once every year, like for a month, right?
He does like meat and fruits. Right. So he'll eat meat and fruit. But I've been thinking about trying it to see, because I've done a bunch of different diets,
right,
or different types of eating habits and stuff, and I was like, man, maybe I'll try that and see how it goes, because you always get told like meat's not good for you, it's full of hormones and all this kind of shit, and then Sean Baker will tell you like a packet of meat is better than eating like anything else that you're gonna eat that you think is vegan, right? That's full of chemicals and all these different shit that you don't even know how to pronounce.
Fake meat, basically. Yeah.
So it's like you might as well eat a fucking hormone full, pound of ground beef, than go and buy you an Impossible Burger, which you have no idea what's inside of. Right. And you think you're saving the planet by being vegan. It's like in reality, it's just you're not.
You're destroying yourself in the process.
Like you're just killing yourself. So. Right. But yeah. So it's kind of weird, but fuck.
So you're gonna try it or what?
I am.
Nice.
Let's see what happens.
Shit. Well, fuck, man.
Oh, I want to say one thing. There was one thing that bothered me. A lot of people were talking about like, hey, we know a lot of people say like you manifest things, like you can think about it and it happens, and shit. Or you speak things to existence. Right. Which I 100% believe in. But I also believe that if you speak it into existence, like, don't be naive about it. Like, you're not speaking it into existence.
Right.
If you're not there, like, in every facet of your life.
Trying
so,
to
like,
make it happen.
Like, physically, when I say physically, like, you have to physically be there as far as your physical self.
Right.
In the sense of your health, like taking care of yourself and all that kind of shit, like eating right and doing all those kind of things. That's your physical body. So you have to be in there, which a lot of people, a lot of people do work out and stuff. A lot of people are there. And then mentally, so you have to actually see it. You have to create it.
Right.
But if you have to be there mentally, you have to be there physically, and you have to be there spiritually. So what I say by spiritually, I mean like meditation and stuff like that. But you also have to be there in the sense of, like, whatever God you believe in, you have to be there. Like, you can't just expect to say something and it's going to happen. Like, you can't wake up every day and look in the mirror and be like, I'm going to be this.
Well, I think in the terms of manifestation and like law of attraction, it's more so constantly telling yourself that this is your reality. I think Drake put it perfectly in like one of his song lyrics where he says, when you look in the mirror and you are who you think you are, you know? So it's like you literally have to fully believe that you are already there.
Yeah.
And naturally, because you believe that you're already there, you'll naturally start working yourself into that.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like, in that manifestation that you create, do not get away from the spiritual side. Like, don't get away from whatever God you believe in. Like, if I believe in God, so
of course,
as I'm manifesting these things and I'm saying the universe is going to give me this and all that, I'm also saying the only way that's possible is because God says so. Right. So don't manifest things and be like, oh, I'm doing this on my own. Like, you're not by yourself. Right. There's a manifestation that comes from it, but that's also God is allowing that manifestation. So don't be naive. Like, don't be that person that's like, oh, I'm going to do this on my own. You're not by yourself. Right. In every aspect, you're not alone. God is allowing you, or whatever God you believe in, whether it be whoever. Right. That God is helping you. So don't be naive to it. Like, you're not alone. You're not doing it by yourself. And don't be like, I did this. Like, no, you were a part of that manifestation. Hell yeah. And God helped you get there. So don't be naive to that. Like, because I see it all the time. I mean, you see, I tell people, like, be motivated. But in your motivation, you need to add a spiritual part of that motivation and a physical part, as far as keep maintaining your body, maintaining your health.
Well, because, I mean, it all plays a part, right? Like, all of it. You have a clouded judgment whenever you're putting shit in your body and eating like shit. Like, you just have, your mind is clouded. Yeah. Right? You're not all the way there. You're not focused. You're not clear-headed. You're not clear-minded. Yeah. You know?
So I just want people to know, like, as you manifest these things, be grateful and be thankful. Like, I go to sleep and I wake up every day thankful for the opportunities that I do have to manifest them, because my creator said I could. Right. And so I'm trying to, bring it full circle, where my mental, my physical, my spiritual is all there together, aligning itself. It takes time. It's hard work. Yeah. Spiritually, physically, and all that shit. Mentally, you're trying to create something. Right. It does take time. But just don't be naive, like, and act like you did it by yourself. Yeah, because you didn't do it by yourself.
No, facts. Like, I saw you running in the cold the other day. You want to go run in the cold again? It's cold again.
I only did that because my manager said I couldn't do it. And I said, all right.
Like, watch me.
So I guess you didn't know I was a fucking... I told him, I was like, I guess you forgot that I used to fucking... what was it? I used to do God's work. I was like, don't forget I used to do God's work. So, fuck off. Right. And I ran outside. It was fucking cold. I ran 3 miles in like 30-degree weather.
You starting to work out and shit now, or what? Are you always?
I'm getting back to it.
Getting back to it. Yeah. It's hard to get back to that place. I'm always like in these waves, like, right.
Yeah, I did. I saw you did like you were training for like a marathon, right?
I ran a half marathon.
Oh,
I ran a fucking half marathon back in October. Like, I was like in like this little like 60-day challenge with one of my buddies. He owns a gym. Yeah. And I lost like 26 pounds like throughout like
I saw 60 that. Days. Yeah, I listened to that podcast.
It's fucking crazy, bro. But yeah, I mean, but like I said, like, and I'm in waves, right? Like, I'll do it and then I won't, and then I will do it and then I won't, and then I get.
Well, that's what I'm at right now. Like, fuck. I was doing it consistently, working out and running. I was running a ton. Right. And then I hit to a point where right before I went to Disney, I knew I was going to Disney, so I kind of fell off. And then when I got to Disney, which was back in October last year, I was like, really? Fuck, we just eating out. And then when I came home, I was like, well, shit, I just came home from Disney and had like a Disney hangover. I was like, well, fucking every day I feel like characters should be around me, fucking telling me I'm doing a good job and shit. Right. And then, you know, now we're in, March? This is back in October. Yeah. So, like, maybe the last month, I've been working out. I work out for a week, and then I'll work out for like 3 days of that next week, and then I'll work out for like 2 days of the next week, and then I'll like this week, I've worked out 0 days.
Right. I think being in the military like fucked me up because it's like you always have that mindset like when I'm ready to start and do it, I'll fucking do it. Like you know what I'm saying? I'm going balls to the wall. We're going all.
Not only that, it's like you feel bad. Like I eat a fucking piece of cake, and I'm still like, you're a fucking fat piece of shit, and you're like, bitch, really like. People do this shit every day. Yeah, like drinking a beer, you're like, fat fuck. You're like, goddamn, like, and then people, you know, a bunch of people drinking.
Being a Marine, that's what I'm saying. Like in your mind, you're thinking like, but if I want to fucking stop, like I'll fucking stop.
Yeah, I'll do this shit whenever I feel like it.
Right.
And then you're like, 20 years later, you're like, fuck. I guess I didn't feel like doing it. So, fuck it.
It's fucking true, man. Fuck.
But yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, I appreciate you fucking coming out again, man.
Yes, sir.
Fucking dope. Fucking.
Yes, sir.
Cheers. Hell yeah.
All right, man.
Fucking hell yeah. Done.
I'm telling you.